Welcome to another roundtable conversation with Bree, and Doña. Today, we will be discussing another mental health topic that we feel impacts our community and coming together to share our thoughts, opinions, ideas, support, advice, etc. around the topic. Today's topic is handling grief with care. So, before we jump in, ladies, can we begin with our introductions?
All right, I'll go ahead. My name is Bree. I am a believer in movement for healing, of authentic and radical conversations to explore ourselves, and just allowing ourselves to be in this space, be in this body, and show up for ourselves and show up for our lives.
Love that. My name is Sabrina Wells. I am a student of meditation, yoga, mindfulness, healing, and most importantly, love. I am here to be a part of this wonderful community to do my part to support our whatever our missions are on this earth. So, as a life coach, I love to do that for people, and I'm happy to be here to discuss the most important topics that affect our community.
My name is Doña, aka Doña the Light, and I am here to also shine light on our mental and emotional health and have conversations that can be difficult to have. And I'm just excited to be here once again with two of my favorite ladies so that we can come together and collaborate and communicate in community. Okay. All right. So, again,
I've been waiting to say that.
I've been waiting to say that. Look, as a fourth grade teacher, I hear it all the time. Good Lord. Um, so, So, today's conversation, our topic is handling grief with care. What brought this to mind is there are things in our lives that we go through that we absolutely have to grow through, but they take us through a journey of grief. And I personally have connected with a very close friend of mine who is struggling with a decision that brought her grief. And I ran away because I did not know what to do. So, in all transparency, I'm having this conversation to not only get feedback, but also to hear others' thoughts on how we can handle grief with care. So, my first question to you, ladies, is what comes to mind with how we can prepare ourselves personally when we're conversing with someone who is grieving through something?
I love that question, right? Like, how do we deal with grief when others bring it to us? Because we know how we deal with it internally, right? And it comes in waves and you manage it in a different way than when you would give it to someone else. And from my experience, I feel like just being present with them. I think sometimes we have the need to try to fix things for people because a lot of times when they're uncomfortable, we don't like to see people that, especially that we care about, in pain. We
Mhm.
don't want to see them hurt. We don't want to see them in distress. So it's like, I have to fix it. And sometimes we'll become a fixer, and it's really not our job to fix it. For me, I just kind of hold the space, right? And sometimes I'll find myself like saying things like, it'll be okay or it'll get better. And I have to check
Mhm.
myself like, that is not your job,
Mhm.
that is their job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, when we talk about mindfulness, that's an aspect where we have to be mindful in it. When we're mindful in our everyday lives, we can be mindful for other people to know, is this a fix it situation, which no one's problems are really fix it? Or is this a listening? Can I just show compassion? Or can I just stand in this? It's going to make me uncomfortable, but I'm just going to hold the space and just ask, is it okay if I have a friend who's going through heartbreak? He is going through heartbreak. And so every conversation, it feels like we're having these very similar conversations, right? And a part of me wants to be like, try to fix it. And I remember one time I said, can I say something? Can I give you some advice? And he was like, sure. And I was just like, we're all going to experience heartbreak. And I just know that emotion, like you sitting and dealing with it, is very courageous. And part of living is potentially being hurt. But I know and I hope in time your heart heals. And I made it a point to that's all I've said to him. And I just let him go on. But when you're holding grief for someone else, I feel like you also have to know when to close the container and take care of yourself mentally and emotionally, because it became so much. It was just taxing. And it's like at some point, I can't continue to hold the space with you. That is your personal work.
Yeah. Um, just to piggyback a little bit, I would say decenter self. It's so easy to get engulfed in their experience that you are bringing your energy, your sadness, your oh my God to a situation, and it's not warranted. Yes, you should emote and you want to connect with someone. And so that's totally okay. But people kind of just get lost in how they feel about your situation. They're putting themselves in your shoes. So, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like if I have to make somebody else feel better about my divorce one more again,
Mm,
and I have developed a succinct way to announce that I'm getting a divorce now that kind of strips the emotion out of it and it makes people think, and so they stop. So I'm going to use that more. I can share that later. But when we say things like, "Oh, it'll be okay. Don't worry about," we are definitely being dismissive, but we don't know what to say. That's the other problem. We don't know what to say. So we're just throwing stuff out. Well, God had a plan, and it's okay, and you're gonna be all right. And don't cry. Well, I'm about to fight you because I'm already grieving, and you are activating me even more. So now I got bushed in the mouth. And I don't fight. Everyone knows I don't fight. I'm only the getaway driver. I never fight. But I'm gonna fight that day. So
I'm
that's
gonna jump out with you in them Tims. You
Right.
know, you gotta go to middle class. You gotta jump out in the Tims. Well, what we doing? What we doing?
Look, Sabrina, the getaway driver. I'm just the appear to be muscle. Bree is the one that's gonna be doing the work. I'm gonna just be like, yeah, you see these, you see, but I'm not gonna use them because you see these glasses. These is real thick prescription. Okay, so you take these. I'm unarmed. All right, literally, my arms fall off. I'm done. Um, but I love that y'all touched on some really, really important things. Bree's talking about, holding the space, but also recognizing when you need to step away and take care of yourself. It's okay to say, I am so sorry you're going through that. I'm not sure I have much to share right now. I don't know what to say. Here are two things I can offer to you, but just make sure they're things that you can offer. Don't give them the what can I do for you? You're I heard someone say that when you're asking a black woman to text you when you get home, you're giving an independent woman something else to do.
Ooh.
You don't want to give a grieving person something else to do. May I make you this meal, or um or order you some food. I can do one of these things for you if it will help you in this time. You know what I mean? Offer something that you tangibly can do. And I love that Sabrina mentioned our struggle of just like not knowing what to say. And it is uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable to sit there and you're witnessing someone cry. You're witnessing someone just exist solemnly. You know what I mean? I have people at my job asking me to stop looking so sad. And I say no. I will not. I will look sad if I feel sad. And that's just what it is. It's not for you. It's not for anyone. And it's not, I had to kind of check myself, am I doing this to make others feel some type of way? No, I just feel sad. I'm not looking for any specific comfort. I'm not looking for something to change. Because the truth in, like the phrases that Sabrina mentioned, it's not going to be okay. In some way, shape, or form, their life has been completely disrupted. So it's not going to be okay. We don't know how things are going to turn out. You know what I mean? So it is really important for, I think, the things that both of you ladies said, to check in with yourself, um, recognize that your reaction to that person's news should not be so overwhelming that they now have to say to you, are you okay? they're they're telling you that it's going to be all right. Don't worry, I'll be fine. And now you're, masking your own emotions and trying to comfort them and make them feel better because they're falling out of their chairs and clutching their pearls and hyperventilating. And you're thinking, I know, I recognize this is heavy. And it could be that they've gone through the same thing. It could be that they really relate so deeply that they can physically feel it. But just because you can physically feel the weight of someone else's grief in that moment, that's not the place to show it. You
Yes.
can absolutely go home and cry on your own. Maybe it reignited the grief that you felt. Maybe someone shared with you that they lost a sibling and you've lost a sibling. And that brings, memories of your wonderful sibling that you lost. That's okay. You can go and deal with that on your own. But I think some of the key things that you ladies said that I really, really want to emphasize is at the end of the day, our grief is our own. At the end of the day, their grief is their own. And if they're sharing it with you, first of all, I love that Bree used the word courageous. It is very courageous for someone to share with you that they are going through grief. So acknowledge that. This is really hard. I can acknowledge that it's really hard. It took a lot of courage for you to share this with me. Thank you for trusting me with this. And then you can just sit.
Hmm.
And if that's hard for you, that's okay. You can say, this is really hard for me to hear, and I'm not sure what to say. I'm not sure how to support you. You can say those things. It's okay to be uncertain in those times if it's new, if it's something that you haven't experienced before and you don't really know how to connect or relate. It's okay to say those things. You know what I mean? But I think remembering again that it's not our grief to it's not our problem to fix. um this person is sharing this with us likely because they just want to be witnessed. They might want to be validated. And again, you can ask those questions. You can always ask those questions. The only other thing I would add is just to, like most tender sensitive things, just to mind your tone and just be sure that you're approaching them in a tender and compassionate way. um, but just don't offer anything that you can't actually give them. Don't offer them anything. Like, just don't be out here just throwing stuff at the wall. Um, so I guess that would lead us to, how would you like your news to be handled? If you were sharing the news of grief with someone, how would you like someone to receive and kind of handle that information?
I I want to kind of circle back to one of the things that you said that I think was very, very important
Mm-hmm.
when you said that when you've been going to work, you've been sad, and people kind of have been telling you, like, oh, why do you look sad, and almost making you feel sad. And I think that speaks to a bigger and broader issue that we have in the society about us not knowing, not being comfortable witnessing someone go through things and have grief, because it makes us confront one, depending on what the grief is about, right? Like, it could be, maybe someone lost their parent and you lost your parent and you haven't dealt with that. So it's uncomfortable for you to witness that. Or we can just even talk in real time about what's happening in the world, right? That is a huge collective grief and weight that many of us are feeling. The uncertainty, the fear, the worry, right? And just there's so much life being lost. And it's depending on what you're grieving, it brings it the confrontation. But as a society, we are not in America, in the West. We are taught by examples, by media and music and all these different things to suppress our emotions and our feelings, and especially a lot of times within the Black community. Therapy is one thing that is starting to gain traction, especially with like certain age demographics. People are feeling more confident and comfortable going into those spaces, getting life coaches, getting therapists, and saying how they feel. But that is still a new concept for many of us. So when it comes to grief, like how I want it to be handled, I am learning that everyone is not a safe space. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. We have people in our lives for different reasons. And I used to think that just because someone was in my life and they were my friend, which I do feel like they're still my friends, but that doesn't mean that they can hold that space in that container for me. They not might not be the appropriate person to turn to. So I am learning to really allow myself to feel how the conversation feels when I'm receiving or I'm going to someone. Does it feel good to share with this person? Do I feel heard? And for me, that's the most important thing. Do I feel heard? And that I don't feel like they're trying to fix it or trying just to add their stuff to mine. Because it's like, if I call someone, I go to someone, I'll say like, hey, is it okay if I'm going through a lot? Is it okay if I just go? If I start going and you're adding your stuff, I'm not even talking. It's all become you're not a safe space, and that's okay. You have a different place, so just know that it's okay to place people in different like places in your life. But for me, that's something I'm still learning because it's taken me a lot of time, to be honest. I didn't start really jumping into this of knowing that I don't have to go to everyone, that I have the ability, one, to move through things by myself. And some things are just for me and my therapist to move through,
Yeah.
right? Because people in your life can mean well. They can mean well. Doesn't mean it's going to be the best thing to do. And I'm learning how to trust myself. So when it comes to who I share my grief with, who I share and open up to, do I feel safe and do I want to? And being honest with whatever I'm feeling.
I like that you're talking about discernment, Bree, which is just very important. Not everyone can handle everything. And I think it's also probably the flip side can be if someone comes to us and we can't handle it, as Doña has said too, in a tandem kind of way, let that person know where you're at. I would love to support you on this, but I am having a hard time right now. I apologize. I know this is about you and I don't want to make it about me. So I'm going to need a minute. And I feel terrible for asking for that in your time of need, but I want to be able to give you the best of me. And I just can't do that right now. If anybody got beef with you after you say some stuff like that,
Yeah.
Right. Throw them up. I'll see you later, alligator. Wishing you the well. Okay, sis. Or brother, whoever we talking to.
but it's also what Donya said, tone and delivery. Because if you sound cold when you say it, I'm not gonna call you no more. I'm gonna be flat out. I'm gonna be good on you. Thanks for letting me know where you're at, but I'm good on you. But if I need to hear some warmth, some longing in your voice. I really want to be this for you, but I just can't right. Okay, cool. I hear that. I'll step back. And as a wise friend once told somebody she was breaking up with, this is a conversation for your journal. I ain't gonna point nobody out in the room right now. I'm gonna take my conversation to my journal and hope my friend come back if I don't have anyone else. But for me, what the support looks like is witnessing, witnessing and validating, mirroring. That's what humans want. So if I'm like, oh my God, I just can't believe how terrible this is, man, that really is terrible. I don't even know I don't know what I would do if I were you. Gosh, that's so much. And then get curious. If you don't know what to say, ask some questions, get curious, but don't make it an inquisition because the person's already stressed out. But it is, well, what's the heart like? What in your body? Like, what do you feel? Like, what are you feeling right now? Like, if you had to name it, I mean, just something like that. But not only are you clearly, I'm really good at this when I don't know what to say to someone and I have to be on, I just start asking questions. So I've gotten really good in some really interesting situations at work with like top people. And I'm just like, and I asked all these questions and they just were like, what? I just was like, ooh, I didn't let them ask me nothing. But if you don't know what to say, just asking the questions, number one, the person feels seen and heard. You're taking a vested interest in me in my time of need right now. Sweet. Number two, you might help me process something that I haven't been able to process. Number three, you might just get me to think about something else beyond this pain because you're making me think. And so I'm able to kind of stop crying for a second and think. Well, you asked me something. Let me see. Well, what am I? Well, so it's a very easy way to show up for someone, and it don't require anything, but you got to be good at asking questions, because again, you can't ask something that is, annoying or too deep that they have to be like, I don't know. But just some witnessing, some mirroring, and just some curiosity. As someone that has been made it her mission to take care of everyone else, and therefore nobody takes care of me, people that are curious about me make me feel good. And again, not in a badgering way, but just a vested interest. Oh, somebody cares. Somebody's interested. And you're not just, oh, yeah, that sounds terrible. Yeah, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I don't, yeah, again, I gotta go. Like I'm not, I can't. I'm a leave, and I'm gonna be mad, and I'm not gonna talk to you. It's not your fault, but I just know in that moment I'm dysregulated, and I'm looking for some soothing, and you're not soothing me. But again, my discernment said, now they can't even manage their own self. Why was they gonna help manage you? But it's okay. We're all here to learn
Yes.
and process and grow.
I agree. To add on, we teach our students this. In addition to what Sabrina said, uh, I would like to add, I agree. As another person who has been that person to do everything for everyone, um, I haven't received news that made me grieve since my brother passed away. And I feel like my brother passing away is not something that people can fix. So it was a little bit easier for people to approach me in a mirroring way, or approach me in a curious way, or kind of just exist in that moment. I feel like the loss of a sibling or a person is a little bit easier for people to relate to and connect to than like the loss of a job, for example. So when I first shared with a few people, and I didn't discern who to share this with, my first thought was, I'm going to stay in education, so let me share this news with people who are educators.
Mm.
But in that mindset, I'm clearly looking to fix the problem because I'm already thinking about solutions. I'm not thinking about that person and their level of compassion that they have shown me. So, of course, I shared with Sabrina. And I knew that I could rely on her. I knew that I could depend on her to receive that information and respond in a kind way, in a gentle way, in a way that was very comforting. But for some of the other people, it was, oh, girl, go ahead and keep your head up. So you can go ahead and apply. What month is it? Okay, we in April. Yeah, you can go ahead and apply for these positions. Oh, do you think about homeschool? You okay with homeschool? You think about homeschooling? You ever thought about working? And I'm just like,
What?
in the same sentence? In the
There was no breath. There was
no
no
breath.
pause. See, that would make me like,
No
okay,
breath.
these arms got a purpose now.
Right.
I'm gonna put the weight behind the
But
hand. So when I hit your face, you're gonna feel all that stuff you just said reckless to me. And that is an example, like y'all was just saying, the
yes.
tone in which you say it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Because I guarantee you, these Michelle Obama arms, you're gonna feel it. I don't have there's no, you're not about to come at me like that.
But
And if
in her defense, I did not I didn't vet this person for that type of response. Like I had no evidence that they would respond to me in a curious way, in a mirroring way, in a comforting way. I had no evidence. My only thought was, this person is an educator. They can relate to me because they're an educator. And I'm sure that if they haven't lost any positions themselves, they've spoken to people who have. That was all my comprehension was going for. I was wrong. Um, and there were some people who I shared the news with who have shown me evidence of being compassionate and being comforting, who still responded in the same, go ahead and fix it. And to both of you ladies' points, as far as just our society and this world that we live in, I could see how people would take that as, you ain't got no time to grieve this. This is your job and you need a job. So let's go ahead and get you a new job.
Okay.
I completely recognize, as the adult in the room, to two small children. Well, one ain't small no more. Uh, but to two children, I recognize that I have that responsibility. I totally get that. And two things can be true at the same time. I can be having a really hard time with the fact that I've gotten I've never got this is my first time ever getting fired. So like point blank period, I'm already like, what have you seen me? Oh, wait a minute. What's
Hold the door,
right?
baby, because check me out. Lip gloss popping, skin
Right.
good. I'm Doña. I can't say the whole thing like you say it, but
Oh,
Doña and then
Doña.
Doña. What's the rest?
Oh, it's just Doña.
No,
No.
Doña the light? I don't know.
she says, you mean like when she's like, me llamo Doña?
Yes.
Oh, yo me llamo Doña.
Do you not know?
I was like, what is it? Yeah, it's yeah. So there's a lot of, so there's some identity things wrapped up in there. There's some self-worth things wrapped up in there. There's some parts of baby Doña who's like, this is so unfair, that I'm still trying to work through and confront and deal with. So to only be presented with, here's some solutions for you. Best of luck, kiddo. Like it's giving military parent movie, and I do not appreciate it. So like, I mean, I even struggled to bring it to my mom because I was assuming that that's all I was going to get. So I was thinking, well, I don't really need to, like, I'll share it with her eventually, but like, I'm not going to get anything out of it because that's the type of response I expect from her. So again, just to what both of you ladies are saying, not everybody needs it. Not everyone in your life is going to be able to hold that information and be gentle and kind and delicate with it. But also to what Sabrina was saying, knowing yourself well enough to know what you need in that moment, you know? And also saying, hey, I want to share this, but I'm not looking for advice or solutions. I just want to say it out loud. Because I know that the three of us have absolutely been sharing things with each other and just saying it out loud to someone who can hear you, who can actually hear you, and who can see you, can help you process, because they might, again, ask you one of those questions that helps you chug along just a little bit, you know, like, why is this so hard for you to hear? Why is this decision that they made so hard for you to move past? Um, so yeah, just a lot of really, really wonderful things that you ladies are sharing. And for anyone watching, I'm hoping that y'all are writing this down and taking notes. And I really, really, really want to emphasize that your grief is yours. That we as individuals really have to practice sitting with it. And we unfortunately don't have the luxury of determining how long that's gonna take. There's no, I'm gonna grieve for a day and that's gonna be it. No, like
And we don't get to tell someone. I've
Yes.
I've I've seen someone do that to someone, and I was abhorred. How dare you tell someone that they've grieved long enough and they need to move on? You don't get to do that. And I understand where it's coming from. You want this person to progress, and they shouldn't have to keep carrying this around. But the thing is, and this kind of goes back to what Bree said earlier, um, as a society, we are uncomfortable with people being who they are and in their bodies. I don't get to dictate what you should be feeling and where you're at, and it's because your grief is making me uncomfortable. And so, because I used to do it, I used to be solutions based because I want to shut this shit down, because I can't handle your emotions, because I totally ignore my own emotions. I can't handle yours, so how can we shut this down as soon as possible? And that is really where the whole "hey, don't be sad" comes from. I can't handle you. I can't handle you, so let's just move it around. But it comes off as dismissive, because it is dismissive. It's absolutely. And then you got the other side, the whole, positivity, toxic positivity crap, where everything, they're trying, let the person feel what they need to feel in the time frame that works for them. And here's the thing, Donya and I were discussing this earlier today. Many of us adults forget we have choices.
Mm.
Your friend is grieving really long about that raggedy dude that wanted her to leave 5 years ago, and she's still crying a year later. Guess what you can do? Move around. You don't have to come around as much. You don't have to call as much. I've told someone, I'm like, hey, that's your relationship. And I want you to live your life however you want to. I'm not interested in hearing about it anymore. I don't respect him. I love you. I don't respect him, but it's not my job to interfere with your life. Can you not talk to me about him? I don't want to hear about it anymore. But I said it much cleaner than that, but you get what I'm saying. And she respected it. Like I wasn't sure where she was gonna go, and I didn't care because I'm not going on this ride with you. You're choosing this.
Yeah.
I am not. I choose you. I don't choose this bullshit shit relationship that you have, but I'm not going to tear it down or make you feel like you have to end it. But what I am going to say is, this is not for me. Can you please not share that with me because it makes me uncomfortable? And we have to respect that. So again, learning, we don't have, just because someone comes to you with grief doesn't mean you have to do anything. But what you do need to do is communicate.
Right.
I can handle it. I can handle it. I can handle it later. I can handle it tomorrow. I can handle it right now. That's what you got to do, if nothing else. Other than that, like, yeah, please don't try to put on a hat that is ill fitting, because that's not what you're supposed to be doing for yourself, yourself or for them.
Yeah. And if that person is carrying that grief for a prolonged amount of time, chances are there are a lot of layers to that. You know, if it was someone who passed away, maybe that person was their partner, their wife, their husband, their grandmother who was their favorite person on the planet. So now they're left with feeling completely alone, misunderstood, just all these different things. Or it could be the other side where they were tethered to this person for no good reason, but now they're gone. And now they're like, oh my gosh, what's the word? Where you're like hyper dependent on someone,
Codependent.
codependent on this person, and now they're gone. So now I feel like my arm is gone, and now I'm trying to, you know what I mean, and process these things. And yeah, but again, you don't have to go along on that ride with them. You absolutely don't. We are individuals, and yes, community is healing, and having these conversations is healing, and oftentimes just being around that person, you know what I mean, even if they're not talking about their grief, let's just go and we can all, sit at the park together. Let's go blah blah blah, you know what I mean. They don't even have to be talking about the grief. That could help progress them along. But if you're inviting them to these things and all they want to do is really fixate and drive the conversation on that grief, have a conversation with them. You know what I mean? Just like if you're out playing a game with someone, y'all are out playing soccer and this person is constantly kicking the ball to the other goal. Hey friend, we're going to stop inviting you until you can learn the rules. And that's okay to say, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to do those things. You don't have to go along for the ride. I love, Sabrina, that you mentioned, you got to say something. Say something. Don't just don't do that. Because as a human, connecting with another human, it is your responsibility to communicate. It's okay to not know what to say. It's also okay to say I can't handle this right now. um yeah, it's okay to do those things. um any final thoughts or shares before we wrap up here, ladies, on just any tips or advice on how to handle grief with care, either your own grief or the grief of another person?
Just give yourself space, like you ladies have said so beautifully. All grief is different, and grief comes in many forms: the loss of a job, the loss of a partner, and even with that, like you said, it's layered. The loss of a partner is like the loss of the life you thought you would have, even when someone passes, right? So we go through these things, and just know that you're allowed to handle it all grief differently. And other people don't have to get your grief. You have to get your grief, because, as we've all said, it is your responsibility. And just ask yourself, what do I need? Sometimes I think we're afraid to be honest with ourselves, because with that, we might be used to going to someone and we say, honestly, that's not the person that I need right now. But we're used to doing things in a certain way. So be open to every season of your life, dealing with things differently. It doesn't always have to be the same.
There go Google Meet yelling at us
That's why I
again.
was like, let me,
It told me too.
la boca, quiete la boca. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
As with many societal norms, we need to be curious, question the traditions. Um, and I think when people it shouldn't take you losing your own mother to know what is not appropriate to hear from people. You know, again, I lost my mom a month after graduating from college. I was 25, and I wasn't even, I had a mask on that entire time. I was just taking care of everybody else, and just smiling. I read a poem and I'm just like, yeah, I wasn't even there. But um, to say say to me, you know, well, your mom's work was done here. I got a 16-year-old sister and a 4-year-old grandson of hers, and my 25-year-old self. Well, we wasn't done with her, but so question what the hell you're saying to people. Think about what you're saying. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. What would I need? What would I want to hear? What would be soothing? Or if nothing else, what would be terrible for me to say?
Yeah.
Um, Even people that are religious don't want to hear that God called their loved one home. They want their loved one. They
Yeah.
can respect what religion has taught them and be like, okay, but that doesn't soothe the grief. Be more mindful and conscientious with your words. And if you're not good with words, guess what, y'all? AI, Hallmark cards, internet poems. Like there's so many things that you can do for someone. It requires a little energy and a little pre-planning that you can package up and send to someone. I have a couple of lines that I say to people when it comes to when they lost someone. I always say, please find comfort in the arms of those that love you. Because that's real. When we're feeling like crap, we just want to be with people that love us. So please find some comfort there. I'm not going to say nothing else about your particular experience. I'm going to focus on what I can focus on. And you deserve support and love. Please find that love where you know it exists. So just be curious. Stop just saying things because you heard somebody else say it or whatever, and think about how you would want to be supported to people. And again, we're all three of us are just saying things that are similar, that are different, but like we're all complimenting one another as we share all these things with you. Really, like Doña said, take notes. If this is on YouTube, and it will be, you can hit the little button to summarize it. And I'm sure it will point out the highlights of what we're sharing with one another. But yes, just get curious about how we handle grief, because we're not doing it generally in America. We're not going about it in the best way. And so if you can be curious and bring something else to grief that is actually supportive and loving for that individual person while also honoring yourself and your capacity, please do that. That goes so much further than a half-hearted, oh, I'm sorry, my condolences. Do you even know what condolences mean?
Not me looking it up. Hey, Google. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think you ladies have touched on some really, really important points. I'm going to encourage y'all, like I always do, to just put the phone down and feel your feelings.
Mhm.
You can get a crayon, baby. You don't even got to be a pencil. You can get a crayon and a piece of paper. And you just sit there with it. You go outside, look at a plant, look at a picture of a plant, and just breathe. Because all of this soothing that we think we're doing by scrolling on social media, it's not soothing, it's activating. I need y'all to slow down and stop and just sit with it. What are you feeling? What does that look like? Draw a picture. What words come to mind? Maybe you just want to scribble. The other day I crashed out with my 3-year old and I scribbled in my journal because that's how I felt at the moment. Okay. But just allow yourself to go through the feelings. Again, like Sabrina has mentioned, we are not good at handling our feelings, whether they be super, super high, lovely, wonderful feelings or the low lows and everything in between. We need to practice just existing with them, putting everything away and just being with ourselves. Yes, it's uncomfortable. It is. It feels weird. You feel like you need to fill the space or fill the void with, and you know what? If you put on some instrumental music, go for it. I'm not saying you have to do everything exactly as I'm saying. But give yourself 5 minutes. You know, set your kitchen timer, your stove timer for 5 minutes and just sit with yourself. And then just gradually build up. I guarantee you, being bored is okay. And it's good for you. It's good for your brain. It's good for your senses. You blink more when you're bored. Okay. Anyways, uh, we love y'all. Please take some notes. Please leave us questions in the comments. Whoever's YouTube channel you're seeing this on, leave us some questions so we can have some topics for future conversations. Google Meet gonna kick us out soon, so we gotta wrap it up. Um, Thank you for listening. My name, Me llamo Doña, aka Doña the Light, and I'll be accepting clients here pretty soon, probably around June 2026, to help shed some light on your mental and emotional health and guide you through to the promised land. No, I'm just playing, not the promised land. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Ladies, drop your call to action.
Um, you can find me on all social media platforms at Witnessing Bree. I also have a YouTube channel where I do guided meditations with sound bowls, movement classes, and just mind chats to help you come back to yourself with real tools and techniques that maybe you find helpful. Maybe you adjust them, but really conversations to help encourage you to be all of you all the time.
I like that. I like that. I am Sabrina Wells. You can find me at sabrinawells.org. I am very loud and proud on Facebook, giving away free game tools and just random rants, and it's mostly entertaining. Um, but as an emotional wellness coach, I'm here to help people just come back to self, um, relieve themselves of the things that life has packed onto them. I help you take them off, take it off, and let's get back to that brilliant you that was told was it wanted or wasn't special, because very much wanted, very much special. So follow me, check me out. I'm happy to support and happy to be on this life journey with you.
All right, y'all. We will see you next time. Bye.